Hello, friends. I wanted to share an experience that I had years ago in India. And what was happening is we lived in Pune, in India. It's in mid-India. And there was an eclipse that was going to eclipse of the sun, meaning that the moon was going to pass between the earth and the sun. And it was going to be directly eclipses of the, I guess you would call that, eclipse of the sun. They're in a particular location, relatively speaking, where, the direct visible path of it comes right over a certain area of the earth. And it lasts for, not terribly long, but an hour or two. And that is it considered inauspicious in India. I mean, in other parts of the world, people will travel great distances and they'll, go out with glasses or, special equipment in order to see the eclipse, watch the moon come and gradually eliminate the light, and you'll see the little halo around the edge of the sun where the moon is blocking basically almost all the light of the sun. And then, of course, it moves on and the daylight returns. And so we did an experiment. This was happening in the early morning that particular day. I think the peak was around 6 a.m. And we decided to do a meditation during that, a 2-hour meditation starting at 5 a.m., passing across the time when the eclipse happened and going all the way until about 7 a.m., such that for an hour before the peak and all during that time, and then until an hour afterwards, which was well beyond the peak. I mean, I think the light would be more or less restored by that point. That's when the meditation ended. So we were meditating during this period. And it was a really interesting and quite powerful meditation. And what struck me, this is partly why I tell the story, is because it's considered inauspicious to be outside. It's sort of considered to be unlucky to be outside, like something bad might happen to you. And, thinking about that, I mean, there's an awful lot of people in the world, and how unlucky is it for all of them to be outside in a moment like that? I mean, people who are completely oblivious to that. It doesn't seem like bad things happen to every single person. So, in the meditation, and because of the meditation, the thought that struck me, or that I could really actually feel and experience inside, was that the eclipse represented an opportunity. And what was unlucky was not so much unlucky in the typical sense that we might think, okay, well, I'm going to trip in a hole and twist my ankle, or, something disastrous will happen to my financial world or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like that. It was more that what's unlucky is only that we would miss the great opportunity to be inside, to be in our spiritual realm, in our spiritual potential. Because it's like that moment offered a window of opportunity. Like I said, the meditation was quite intense, meaning that, the attention was powerfully focused and riveted in a certain way. I mean, I do remember kind of cracking my eye open around the time that the eclipse was in full. And it was dark. I mean, it had been light in the morning earlier than that, and then it just got darker and darker and darker and darker. I mean, it was just basically dark. And then the light came back again, and it was more or less like morning was coming again, just a sort of late sunrise in a very odd way. But that experience reminded me that when we go into our own spiritual potential, whether that's through prayer, whether that's through meditation, whether that's through whatever means, it's lucky in the sense that we experience a higher level of reality, a higher octave of our own being. And it's not to say that everything else is therefore unlucky. It's just to say that we get to experience something that we didn't know before in the same way. And so you might just think of that in your own life, because there are many blessings available to us if we will ask for them or if we will strive for them. And it's not that therefore we're unblessed if we don't. It's just that we don't have the same experience if we don't. And it's an opportunity. How much of it we choose to take is kind of like asking how much food do we take from a buffet line when we're passing through it. We take as in proportion to how hungry we are and how much we can eat and how much is appropriate to eat. I mean, I remember many times as a child especially experiencing my eyes were bigger than my stomach, as the saying goes. But in terms of spiritual blessings, there's really no limit to what we can experience. And so it's lucky, or it's an opportunity for us to experience as much of that as we can in this lifetime. Namaste.